What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 16 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have been making our way southward through Blackfire Pass in the same way that the orcs came north and have begun to punish Orc and Skaven alike, and begin our wars against the massive Orky empires that have essentially completely surrounded and destroyed the dwarfs, and by the looks of it, a fair amount of Skaven as well. Skarsnik has won the war for 8 peaks. He has captured every single location other than Karag here, which is owned by another Orky faction, which, for all we know, will just get Confederation by the Crooked Moon. Anyway, gotta be impressed with Skarsnik. I love the little guy, so more power to him and all that. Though he's just gonna have to enjoy it while he can, because the forces of the Empire will push outward and rebuild the shield of civilization piece by piece. Otherwise, this particular turn, we have probably a battle that we want to start with by taking Castle Aquitaine, because I think that we'll want to get the bonus level on Humphrey at rank 12, so that should Grom de Ponch attack him, he and his army are a little bit more leveled than they currently are. Also got to remember that he still doesn't have a wizard, and I mean, a couple of Empire captains could also probably be nice here, just to add a few buffs to everything, because they do summon range units as well, which are gun type units. But anyway, I'll think about it. Oh, we also got to get him a steam tank. Basically, very few of our armies are as yet complete, but we're working on it. We're about 2 turns away from the next Confederation, which I've decided is going to be the Cult of Sigmar. It's time to get this territory for 2 reasons. 1, mostly I just want Volkmar on the field, but 2, it's time to start crusading, as we'll want to start building several armies to push into the Southlands, into Araby, into Nehekar, etc. And I think what we'll do is, other than Volkmar's army, obviously, we can build a few faithful armies down here, whether they be Sigmarite or Ulrich. I do want to build the Knights Panther army down here as well, because the Knights Panther are a sort of crusader originating type force, so it makes to send them back for another round, I suppose. Plus, it's really about time we get the Knights Panther on the field, because they I think they're the largest single knightly order in the Empire. In fact, the Knights of the Blazing Sun are a derivative originally of the Knights Panthers, so there's that. But anyway, between the episodes, as promised, I did the admin, or at the very least I did most of the admin, like moving the heroes around, and, as somebody reminded me last episode, traded Klessen away from the Bordelot Arenton back to us. Of course, we'll probably confederate the Vesterland faction, or rather than attacking them, but I think we'll probably just destroy Sylvania. Let's just say they were corrupted by vamps. Maybe they're hiding vamps, and in fact, maybe this guy's a vamp himself, and I don't think our Sigmarite cults would appreciate that. Anyway, let's get started with what we've got. Governor Billings, you're not... Okay, well, the governors don't need to move, admittedly. Recruiter Albrecht, you're fine. Wolfric Ergiger, you are still proceeding to Halbensel. We gotta figure out what kind of army we want for the Knights more. Now, the Knights more... what would work with their sort of silent aesthetic? I'll have to think about that one. Now, they can certainly use some guns, but it wouldn't be them themselves using guns. I mean, on the Ironsides would kind of make sense, but I don't want to be similar to Elspeth's army. I'll think about it. We got a lot of stuff to do before we get them up and running. And several armies to do as well, as they are coming online at last. Anyway, Gustav Hall, you're kind of staying here because these frickin' Skaven are just annoying us. Frankly, if they attack Eschen, they attack Eschen. There isn't much we can do about it. Just gonna have to send Marius around to deal with them as best he can. Stefan von Kessel, you are almost online. This is gonna be a really neat army. The Witch Hunters, the Great Swords, Knights of the Everlasting Light, the Luminarchs, and the Sigmarite Disciples as well, which are being constructed. Troop train, you're just sort of holding on to troops, so you're fine. Boris, I guess it's time for you to move. Technically, you're missing a few things still, but I think that you're ready to get a move on. You can start. We will need to get him a mage, but we need to get money to actually recruit him a mage, so we're just gonna have to do that. Humphrey, you're about to attack. Let's just make sure that there's nobody else that needs to do anything else. Valmir von Raukov, you're going to move to transfer the stubborn bulls to Elgar van Gorst here. Like so. And then we'll see about that army afterwards. Valdenraukov, you are logistically minded, so you can keep providing bonus control to places. So sit here for now until we figure out what to do with these guys. Or at least until we're ready to get this Knightly Order army up and running. Slash Ostlander army, I suppose. Anyway. Is that it? Are we ready to fight? Recruiter, Valmir, Elgar? Yes, we are ready to fight. Alright. Let's break down those walls, shall we? Castle Aquitaine. I don't imagine it should be too much of a problem here, but who knows, I've been surprised before. Go.
If I can craft the finest of machines, I can command you, rabble. Fear not, you are safe in my hands.
Alrighty, here we go. Almost feels a little bit weird to be attacking a Bretonnian settlement, considering we chose not to go the Conquest of Bretonnia route, but, well, it is full of greenskins, so we're gonna fill those walls with bullet holes and whatever else ordnance we have. Anyway, we're gonna start the battle off as usual, bringing down those towers, though unfortunately the Hellblasters actually have a pretty short range at, I want to say 325 or something like that. Yeah, 325. And 250 on the tank, so their range is rather short and they can't outrange the enemy towers. In fact, if you take a look at them, their range is by and large shorter than that of, well, it's barely longer than the Hochland long rifles, which are just about at the same range as the Hellblasters, and I guess they're about equivalent to the range of the, well, not equivalent, they're a little bit longer. And then the range of the handgunners, which are a little bit over 200. But it isn't by much, so. Anyway, speaking of the handgunners and the outriders and whatnot, while we work on those towers, and before we get our siege towers up and running, we're going to hose the wall down with all the bullets we can. Of course, not a lot of arcing shots available to us in this particular army, and thus we're just going to have to hope that the occasional shot that gets through the crenels there, and between the Merlins, Slanesh giggle, will be enough to bring down the Goblin and Orc Error Boys up on top of those walls. Although I believe over the gatehouse it's going to be a lot more difficult than on the regular wall, since it seems to me that the projectiles don't seem to get through over the top of the gatehouse nearly as much. Probably at least in part because it's higher, and thus the angle causes even more problems. Anyway, we keep on firing. Gotta love the gunnery-centric armies. And while we brought down the two towers, we now just need to bring down those gates and any units that dare to make their way up there, and we'll hopefully get gunned down. It is also time to start moving the siege towers forward as well, or at least it will be as soon as the gate is down. And if you're wondering who's in the siege towers, it's the Nuln Ironsides. Nobody really else in this army is capable of fighting in melee, at least not well enough for our purposes. And the enemy does have Biggins and Blackworks and whatnot, and of course those would win against the Nuln Ironsides, but at least they can hold them back for a decent amount of time while we make our way into the enemy settlement. Anyway, the gate is down, and we move forward now. Nobody's on top of the walls, gonna get a few more blasts away at whatever units are milling around up there, but let's speed it up a teensy bit while we get ready to move on in. We do have one unit that can arc shots, and they are the Bordermen. And this was a sort of mostly a long gun army, but in reality it was a handgunner army, and the Bordermen are handgunner variants. I see this. Some of them have the same helmets as Pistoliers. There's some solid helmet variations. Some of them just have the hats. But the hats are over the helmets. Okay, so yeah, that's good. That's good. They're not just wearing hats. Now the fancy hats go over the helmets. I like that. And didn't have to activate the sort of peeve of not putting your helmets on. Anyway, time to breach the gate with our steam tank. Gonna move in first. Are you able to fire the Hellblaster point blank or no? I wonder. And take a look at it for a few seconds while it charges on through. Ooh, I do like the color scheme as well. Of the tank, I mean. And the orcs can appreciate a thing that's red and likes to go faster. And there we go. Looks like so far I'm only seeing steam expulsion from the turret rather than the main cannon firing. But that's alright. The grenades keep dropping down on the enemy below and, taking a little bit of damage on some of our engineers, which have made their way forward with the tank. And getting the occasional hit in with their swords, as well as probably tanking a little bit of damage. So the tank is really tanking the damage, as it is going to have to try to hold back those black orcs. In the meantime, our towers have nearly reached the walls, and that'll be the first sort of main element of the siege, as they will establish their position up there and start firing down. We did get our first unit of handgunners inside the enemy settlement as well, and has climbed on top of the gatehouse, though it does look like the enemy does have enough range units to probably start firing back at us if we're not careful. Nonetheless, grenades arcing over their heads, and the handgunners will start firing. Looks like the enemy will indeed react to that, as some biggins have made their way up on the walls, but too late to stop the Nuln Ironsides. Camera wonky on top of walls, sorry. It does have a tendency. Alright, so Orc Biggins at 54 and 40 and 75 armor, solid. 36 and 45 on the Nuln Ironsides, but 70 armor, so it will take them some time to get through them. Again, they're decent in melee, but it doesn't mean that they're good in melee per se. Just good enough to hold the enemies back while the rest of our units, hopefully, gun the enemy down. Probably going to have to help them out by allowing the Outriders to shoot some of them as well. Yeah, it looks like the Orcs have reached the regular handguns, not just the Ironsides, and they are starting to tear through them, so it's time for the rest of our units to see them off, as it were. Our war wagons are making their way inside the enemy settlement now, and the other unit of Ironsides is relatively unharmed up here. We're gonna join in with the bordermen as well, which have made their way up, or are starting to make their way up, now that we've pushed them through the siege towers. And they'll start dropping grenades in addition to everything else down on the enemy below. And it's looking like it's getting pretty hectic for the orcs down here. And the wall has essentially turned against them, as they have to try to run towards the breach, and they're going to have to take a lot of damage as they do. What's the range on our bordermen, incidentally? It's 165, it's not so bad. Hopefully they can... Yes, they can. Alright, I was wondering whether they can actually use their grenades up on top of the wall. Some units kind of function weirdly when they're docked up there. Yeah, actually, the handguns have been doing pretty good, but, well, I guess they are firing in reverse, because they're firing within the enemy settlement. That's never had as much of a problem in terms of their capabilities as firing forward with the docked units. Specifically handgun units, as opposed to arcing units, like bows and crossbows and whatnot. But anyway, orcs are milling around down there, and the handgunners are doing a great job, especially in combination with those bordermen and grenades. You gotta love this sort of thing. It almost turned into a defensive siege in this manner. That's why I like to call these reverse sieges, especially when we have a heavily arranged infantry sort of army. And that said, the bounce power is at about 90-95% in our favor. Our engineers and our tank have all taken a decent bit of damage, and down below 50%, but somebody had to breach that wall, and using the tank as a battering ram, essentially, is a perfectly viable strategy, as we saw. I've also taken some damage on these handguns, as they got torn apart, at least in part, by those biggins. But not enough by the looks of it. Last of the orcs are milling around down there, taking grenade after grenade, bullet after bullet, and not knowing what to do. They're no longer really capable of rushing en masse down to the gate, and are just going to get shot up and destroyed. There we go with that. The balance of power shifts to 100% in our favor, and the battle is ours. Really nice. And we didn't have to rely on artillery to bring the walls down or anything like that. We could have, but I feel like it was more fun to do it this way rather than breaching the wall in like a dozen places and starting to fire through the wall everywhere. I think that was pretty fun. All right, there we go. We certainly took that the hard way, but that's just the way we likes it. It was a pretty fun fight, and again, because this is a direct fire army by and large, with the exception of the bordermen, it makes walls a pretty distinct and disadvantage to us, since we can't fire over them with our artillery and with almost all of our troops. Gives us some dang fun fights though, especially with the sort of reverse siege here, and we may not be a sort of fireglaive level of hybrid units on the non-iron sides, but they can certainly still be put into towers and start taking those walls. Lovely. We'll take the place for ourselves, primarily to hold briefly in order to trade to the Bretonnians. And don't collect the income, keep the... I wonder if this counts as a military structure. How much is this worth to you immediately, out of curiosity? Castle Aquitaine, 183. Pretty good. Alrighty, well, out of curiosity again. Well, okay, well, we're not trading you that for Fortberg Bray. What we need to see... Would you be willing to give us Castle Gisoro? That's the main thing. Castle Gisoro is worth 266. Ouch. Okay, so we'll need to upgrade it at least to tier 3. Though, if we give them Torbidoux as well, then that should increase its worth by virtue of them having the nearly complete province. And if we get the nearly complete province of this, that should make the trade easier. I hope. I pray. We shall see. Now, I wanted to get a little bit of money for a wizard because Mr. Boris is going to need one, and while we were upgrading the toll gates, I think we can forego it for one turn and then instead get the wizard up and running at Tar now. I think Boris is going to have a... Enable if wins of magic power is 15 or greater and in melee. Well, it is in melee. Contact effect. Duration 5 seconds. Okay, so it's basically just a large explosion effect. I don't know how good it is as an effect, though. I'm going to say go fixated instead for the targeting range. It's not perfect for the Amber Wizards, frankly. Cryomancer with the 10 melee defense, Hasty with the potion of healing, and then that other one, the hard-headed, for the additional weapon strength would probably be better on these guys. Not that I dislike the targeting range and the flock of doom spam that's available to them, mind you. I'm sure he'll be fine. We'll just have to be a little bit more careful with him than the other. Alright, there we go. I just figure the Amber Wizard would be the more appropriate thing for the for Boris's army. We obviously don't have the ice lore, and Ulrich is a god of winter, so... But there's nothing that we have that's really close to it. And beasts makes sense. Anyway, Barded Warhorse, Imperial Pegasus, etc., etc. Let's actually immediately go through this lore to buff up the improved scrying techniques and the machinations of the college. Let us do... Well, out of everybody, you probably need Sorcerer Shielding the most, but at the same time, we'll want the additional Winds of Magic reserve. Let's do 1, 2, and 1, 2. I mean, you're not on the big bird yet. Oh, there's also further study. Let's do further study. All right, let's do these two, and then the rest of them will... Okay, well, it's actually... We should also get Kettle Skull, to be fair. Amber Scholar, and then Battle Hardened, and then Kettle Call. And then obviously max out Flock of Doom, because it's awesome. And frankly, since Wild Form and Wild Heart, they're both really good spells. And then we'll get at least 1 point in magical reserves. Transformation of Kadon is kind of mad because of the 60 seconds limitation. It's rare that we'll get decent use out of that, except in specific situations. But anyway, I think that's it. I believe we can... Okay, I'm not going to check Diplo. We'll do it next turn. Garrison Lord and assign skill points, building upgrades, damage building? Garkungor. Oh, that's going to the dwarfs. We don't care. Let's end the turn. Let's see if anything interesting happens. I don't remember if we can get attacked anywhere right now, but, well, oh, actually, you know what? This is decently likely because, yeah. Let's get you Endless Tinkerer because of the research rate. And then we'll go into Cartography Innovations and Ballistics Calibration. I really do want to get a Master Engineer leading an army that isn't a super machinery and range heavy army, just so that we could go for a steam tank with the firebomb launcher and pigeon bomb, rather than the rather than specifically this stuff. I'll think about it. As in which particular army we could pop that into. Oh, also, I do note that I didn't give you your weapon. Specifically, I wanted to... Oh, actually, wait. How many of the speed standards do we have now? Not the steel standards. Where are they here? Oh man, we have a lot of ancillaries. Manor of Seven, there's just 2. I want one of them to go to Volkmar, but you can hold on to it for now. Hopefully we'll get another one, but for now. The main thing I wanted to give you was... we have some... free armor of fortune. Maybe not on you. You already have so much armor on the steam tank that we'll probably give that to somebody else. The Dragonfire handgun, yes. And we do have another Helm of Discord now that we can give up to somebody. Probably going to be actually this army. Because the wolf can have no melee defense, and thus we'll need to buff them up with that Helm of Discord. There we go. Not bad. I think I've been giving these guys glittering scales as well, and, well, that's good. Let me just see here. I'm going to keep the opal amulets for now. I think we'll give them to mages, or maybe... Actually, you know what? These guys would also be decent carriers for them. Gavin has one. Yeah, you can take the opal amulet. Glittering scales. Yeah, I've been giving glittering scales rather than Helms of Discord to these guys, and then Helm of Discord might be better on Empire Captains because they can reposition themselves faster due to being on Pegasi, rather than on barded war horses generally. But I shall consider it. Also, Boris, do you have fast move? Let's get you fast move. By which I mean Root Marcher. Also, well, we don't really need to worry about the things in the woods, but the Knights of the White Wolf, the Teutogan Guard.
Raise Sigmar.
Oh, that's Honest Steel, right? Yeah, let's do Honest Steel at least, then we'll wait until we can go through... Actually, that's a question. This will give us additional cavalry speed. But I feel like... Nah, we'll still probably go through Imperial training for Boris in particular. Oh, actually, you know what? Level 12 will give us this line and this line. So, you know what? Let's not spend any more points. He needs them. Now we can end the turn. Alright, the Wild Hunt ceases. Faction encountered Oracles of Tzeentch. Okay, wait. Okay, everything else needs to come to a stop immediately. Recruiter von Wolfen, great for... Oh, actually, we need to get him up and running immediately as well. Mechanical Steed for some guy. Okay, Recruiter von Wolfen. Alright, I'm gonna summon you here in East End. For a second. You're actually going to be... Builder. Von Wolfen, just so that I remember you, and we're going to want you to get time of peace to get the construction time and cost reductions. And then otherwise we can go through Root Marcher, Leader of Renown, in case we need to, you know, use him to recruit some stuff. Quartermaster, yes, Quartermaster, and then, I don't know, Logistician, Lightning, whatever. Headhunter, and then I guess Inspiring Presence as well. Now, actually, out of curiosity, do we have any ancillaries that would enable you to build better? I can have Woodsman for now, but anyway, enemy action success chance, Vagabond, Tradesman, Tollkeeper, Student, that doesn't help, Smuggler doesn't help, Servant doesn't help. Road Warden, I don't think so. I don't think Empire has any ancillaries that help with growth or anything like that. Oh. As in building growth, but Governor Billings and... Okay, governors have those guys, that's fine. Construction, that's the word, not growth, you know what I mean. And just have to double check everything. Grave Robber? No. Ferryman... Oh, we have a few spare ferrymen now. I'm gonna put those into some armies. Entertainer, Coachman doesn't help in this situation. Control, that's fine. Burger... Okay, good, we need more burgers. Control, Apprentice Wizard, Agitator, and that's it. Okay, so, you're fine as you are. Then, we need to immediately declare war on Kairos. Immediately. First thing that we need to do. Always be at war with all Tzeentchian factions at all times. Oh, he's strength rank 48, not too bad. He's currently at war with Withered Eye and Third Host of Murder. How much money would you give us to join war against Kairos? 4,000, not bad, sure. Thanks, Withered Eye, go for it. There we go, now we're at war with Kairos. Good. For those unfamiliar with why I'm doing that, it's because the Tzeentchians have some really irritating abilities that are... one of which is to trade a settlement, but that ability does not function when you when you're at war with that faction, as in can only be not be that faction. So yeah, ooh, actually, speaking of trading settlements, this. Weiler for Fort Yakova. At last, are we able to do this? Fort Yakova, Weiler, Yes, okay, no, now you want to give it... 5,000 money. We'll also want to do the military alliance for the additional allegiance. Oh, wow, he's strength rank 8. He's doing pretty good. I mean, I guess it makes sense considering we wiped out all the threats from the south. You know, funnily enough, yeah, you know what? For making us wait, give us your money. It'll make him weaker, but since Karl is going up here anyway, it's all good. Yeah, just do this. There we go. That completes another imperial province. Not a grand province, just a regular old province. Let's pop you in immediately to Council of Burgomeisters, and... what are we at here, money collecting wise? It's actually not bad. Let's build up the grazing pastures here. You're fine as you are. We can continue upgrading the Tailors Guild and stuff next turn. Alrighty, as I was saying... the old world kind of makes it, I don't know, a little bit more clear that, you know, the Empire, geographically speaking, is in a really good position, isn't it? Like, it's completely surrounded, by and large, by mountains or sea, and it has a bunch of buffer states that are basically on every side, with the exception of the North Sea, or the Sea of Claws, where Norskins can come down. But otherwise, geographically, it's a really nice location. But obviously, the Empire is in a constant state of war, and despite that, other than the fact that, you know, there's a lot of enemies in their forests and all over the place, and the Empire itself is a mess, but it's because everybody around the Empire also doesn't have their house in order, and because of that, there's enemies coming in from every side. But if everybody around them did have their house in order, the Empire would be really well positioned to be pretty safe. So, I don't know, just kind of interesting. Anyway, Karl, I think we're done waiting. Maybe Azag will come back next turn, maybe he won't. I'm not sure I care anymore, so we will auto-resolve this finally. And then we will take out Mr. Snorko with another little auto-resolve, then we'll capture this place. Auto-resolve. Actually, do we even care about capturing the place? Huh. Now that I think about it, let's just see here. I mean, he could capture it himself and take it. It's not like there's anything that we want to trade from him, is there? Fort Skehold, Aleblia, let me just see. Yeah, they're not really holding any territories together with these guys, so we don't need to pop off any switcheroos, at least at the current time. I guess funnily enough we could, well, actually I probably could have asked, nah, but this would have been for the Ice Court. Nah, they can deal with it themselves. I think they're fine. Mission successfuls are nice as well. Free Scroll of Power and a Rat Catcher for fighting Skaven. I am willing to bet that we'll be doing that in a bit. Alright, fine, you could just take Ungolia for yourself. We'll go for Leblia instead and occupy that as well. And, ooh, we're very close to Throggy. If he stays here, we'll send Karl after him. That's a nice duel. Throg is a pretty solid combatant. Auto-resolve and occupy. Lovely. And don't collect the income, we'll give it to Boris, and I guess we can build the military structure there. Alright, and another engineer's knapsack or backpack, whatever it was. Not a bad find either. Karl, okay, well, you've been maxed out for a while. We're waiting on your heroes. Now, let's see what Throggy does. If he takes Todd Thyme, we'll probably go after him still, as in we'll still be able to reach him. We shall see. Anyway, Dolph. You're still damaged, but I expect you should be able to take care of Krasiak now. We will still quick save this, because if you guys recall last episode with the annoyance of the war wagons. Yep, it's doing it again. And this time, it isn't even the Wissenberg's Welcomers, it's just any regular old war wagons. Okay, well, like I said, that's, since the game is deciding to be annoying about this, we're going to do a sort of auto-resolve army to send around with Dolph for situations like this where we don't want to waste his time. And yeah, be right back, one sec. Alright, let's do this manually real quick. It should prove no problem and we should just be able to speed through it. I think it'll be a minor settlement battle unless I'm mistaken. They should have a small... yeah, they do. They should have a garrison structure, but it's alright. Between Dolph and the Fire Mage, well, I mean, what are they gonna do? Nothing, that's what. I'd really like to get an item for Dolph to give some Vanguard deployment. It would be really nice. Start deployment. I'm gonna say on this side, maybe? Let's do this side. I mean, ultimately it won't matter over much, but yeah. Let's do that. I believe, well, put you guys here. Some of you are going to need to attack the enemy. Okay. Just gonna pop everybody into position. We'll just move in through one location. Group 1, Group 2, you can be with everybody. Who am I forgetting? Oh, right, the regular war wagons. And the Sterling's Revenge, I guess. Alright. Good enough. And Fire Wizard, go here. You are going to attack this tower. Dolph, you're going to go forward. We are going to send you guys forward to scout, together with Dolph, as, well, they have no chance of dealing with them. Can you guys attack this from here? In case they can, I would like, yes, they can. I would like the Wizard to attack it from the other side, since, well, he'd likely take damage if we're not careful. Missanon's Welcomers move forward together with Dolph. And where the heck are the enemy? Are they milling around up there? You know what? Let's have the range units gun down the tower. I know it's going to take a while, but I'm not sure that it matters. You know what, Dolph, you can position yourself here and then fire upon that thing while you speed this up. Alright, so are they all here? Where are their range units? Huh, why do they deploy like this? I was kind of curious. Well, since they're not blobbed up, we really can't do too much about it, so... Alright, towers down, that's all good. Alright, let's start sending everybody in. War Wagons, I'm gonna like you to lead here. Should be no problem with you and with Dolphin. Might as well move the heroes in. You, we don't care about casualties. The two, let's speed it up. Follow it with the Pistoliers. And I guess the other Pistoliers as well. And there we go. Looks like they've made their way forward. You... buff yourself up. Let's start with a nice little burning head move in this way. It sounds like it's a threat to Dolph. I would prefer that it didn't bounce back. Like so. Maybe. I'm about to find out. Alrighty. Oh, you know what? Turn everybody's skirmish mode off. And that should help a little bit. There we go. Nice little burning head. You guys are in position. Like so. Like so. Like so, Pistoliers, you guys are going to capture this real quick. The other Pistoliers are moving in. Might as well move the non-hurt Outriders. Might as well preserve all of our units if that's what we're doing here. Dolph, you can buff yourself up. Everybody else is moving in, but it's not like they're a threat to the Pistoliers. You can switch to Blazing Shots. You can activate the Accusation on the, I don't know, Lord unit. And I guess we could pop this up here. It might move down towards us, but it'll also split the enemy up. And Dolph should be fine. We can Ballistics Calibrate. Alright, Pistoliers, let's... Looks like this little rock thing is impassable, so we're gonna have to move you like this. And then like the... Okay, fine then, game. You're gonna be like that. Alrighty, and let's buff everybody up here as well. Might as well pop off a Trickster Shard, like so. Alright, you're getting kind of uncomfortably close to our war wagons, but it shouldn't be that threatening to them. Anyway, let's just speed it up. And there we go, a few more seconds, and... Well, I'm actually surprised that the enemy hasn't routed yet. Alright, Pistoliers. Fire at these orc boys, I guess. You charge them in the rear, I guess, and you can buff up this unit to prevent it from getting damaged. Alright, like that. Speed it back up. Alright, Dolph. Move on through, you don't need to block anybody off, just charge those poor archers. That should force them to rout rather rapidly. And charge the rear of those guys, and charge those archers again. Nice, we're preserving the unit's HP this way. There we go, and there we go. Yeah, auto-resolve. Kill our war wagons for this. For this. What can you do? I don't know why the auto-resolve lies about the war wagons, but I remember it happening in my previous Empire campaign, which is why I've been paranoid about it, and as you can see, correct to be as such. And again, it's something to do with the way the chariots, maybe ranged chariots, work, because I remember the same thing happening to Kislevite sleds as well. I think it's, I mean, I'm just conjecture. It's just conjecture here, but the way that war sleds seem to, or these things seem to take damage, is that even if they take like 1% of their HP damage through auto-resolve, it automatically kills off one of their units. You can always see that they take a tiny amount of damage, but rather than needing to take 25%, or 1/4 of their HP in damage, they will always lose one unit. So maybe what happens is when they're down to 1 unit from the auto-resolve, or 1/4 of their HP, the going down to 24%, that 1% HP counts as killing the unit, and therefore immediately kills it. Just what I'm assuming happens. I don't know if that's actually the case, but you know, sometimes you gotta guess. Anyway, there you go, Dolph. We will build you a little auto-resolve army. You know what? Well, no, I was gonna say send Marius out of there, but we could send some spare troops out of there, but they would take a long time to move. We don't really have any nearby military territories other than Castle Drakenhof, which admittedly does have the ability to build pretty much everything that we could want. Probably something to do there. Oh, actually, speaking of building everything, South Bank. We now have the guy that reduces the construction costs. Let's build the Engineers Guild Hall. It's never going to get cheaper. And while we will want you to upgrade to the Grand Temple of Sigmar, for now you can switch to Imperial taxation and make us a little bit more of that cash. And then Builder will move you to, I guess, Karoberg, where we'll want to build up a common temple, maybe move through it all the way to Marienburg, upgrade that with the ludicrous expense, but at least that'll get the Marienburg port up and running. Anyway, Gavin, you have things to do. I guess everybody has things to do. Go figure. Huh. There's a little army down here. We probably should kill these guys off. What's the best way to do this? I mean, I wonder... Okay, this is probably rats. I wonder if this is these rats or whether it's another enemy. It's another rats. There are rats everywhere. I was going to send Elspeth out here, but if she can deal with this quickly, that might not be a bad idea to deal with either. Can we call for aid, summon aid? We can summon aid here, kill Pestilich, and then that'll allow Elspeth to move this way to save a little bit of travel time. Maybe. Let's find out. I don't know if the summoned aid will actually be able to move here. Oh, we could also push down towards Aldium and take it so that it leaves the dwarfs in a slightly better position. It would mean engaging in a war with this little faction, but maybe that's not the worst thing in the world either. Kill this. He'll probably... Oh, I didn't quick save. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell... Oh, yeah, freaking... this is gonna make me super paranoid through the rest of the campaign now. Enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in... Hey, a Seed of Rebirth. Nice find, though. Alright, that made me happy. Yeah, you know what? Proceed down to Aldium. That'll be a nice full stack, a second stack, 3.5 stacks. They might be willing to fight Elspeth. Let's summon aid, just to pop it on to cooldown. There's probably other places, though, that might use it. We still don't know when we can attack these guys. Orcs might also jump down if Karak-Kadrin cannot handle them. You're gonna have to think about it. Oh, this guy's moving to defend Carrick whatever. Well, good luck defending Carrick whatever. Bugmans, we will join your war against Black Venom. Huh. Are you willing to give us Fort Saul out of curiosity? Trade settlements, Fort Saul. 44. Not quite. What about any of these other places? Wusterberg and Kreutzhofen, whatever. Let's see. 135. Okay, so that's a no dice. That's probably going to be a trade for Carrick Hearn. What about Wusterberg? 48. Still no dice. Okay, fine. We'll just do it for money. At least for now. Black Venom. Join war. It's not a lot of money, but I mean, we gotta do it, right? Oh, like so. And we gotta get all of these provinces other than the brewery itself. They can keep Crystal Valley. They are welcome to it. Huh. I wonder if Fort Saul also counts as Imperial territory. I also really wonder whether any of these territories count as, like, any of the Southern Realms territories or anything... Lichtenberg? Counts as Imperial territory here. I guess we shall eventually find out. Hopefully. Anyway, you. Proceed to Ulfraya. What? No. Oh, I forgot about this little rebel army here. Oh, well, not a big deal. You don't have war wagons, so you shouldn't lose your troops. You can take the money, though, because I'm willing to bet you now won't be able to reach this place. Yeah, I got too excited. It happens on occasion. Potion of Farsight, you can take the turn to channel, though, which is not a bad thing. As you weren't maxed out anyway. Alright, you. See, this is what happens when you don't do things in order. You proceed to Carrick Gantuk, and we really want to take Carrick Hearn before somebody else does, because we're looking to trade all of this dwarfen territory to the dwarfs. You do have war wagons, so I'm going to quick save this. And then auto-resolve. Okay, you're fine, because I guess it's a weaker army. Maybe it's trying to send the war wagons in ahead of the rest of the troops. I wonder if that's the case. Anyway, we're going to delete all of this and replace it with military structures to make it worth as much as possible to those, to the Bugman's dwarfs. And I guess we'll want to upgrade these territories as well. Just because of that. Frankly, it would have been nice to be able to trade them to Karazakarek, but, you know, it's fine. Bugman's... We should reward them for keeping our territories safe, but eventually, inevitably, returning them to us. As is the plan. Anyway, Jürgen Wagner, you were... Oh man, this got a lot of stuff up here. It's a target-rich environment. I wonder if this guy's willing to fight us at Scapa Fjord or not. As in, will he sail away? Do we ignore him and go after Harald Soul Thief? I'm kind of tempted to say yes, because, I mean, we fought Norskins with this army, we fought Greenskins with this army. This army would probably run, but nonetheless. Let's try to go after it. You've only got one level. Let's get you Unwavering Discipline, or at least start moving through it. With a vigor loss reduction, always a nice thing to have, and we'll level everybody else after. Let's see if Mr. Harald's Soul Thief is willing to stick around. He is indeed willing to stick around. Good for him. Steel Standard on Mr. Jürgen Wagner, and I think that's it. That's all go. Oh, every time the Grandmaster being silent gets me. I always try to zoom in to get that speech, and then it never works out. Anyway, I wasn't expecting a choke point battle, but sure. Now, we could take advantage, we could take a lot of advantage out of this being a choke point battle and simply use Ulrika to kill out all the enemies, basically. A big old pit of shades and a choke point, a overcast penumbral pendulum with the additional armor-piercing damage. There's a lot of damage out of the Lore of Shadows that would be insane, and in a choke like this. Admittedly, a lot of lures would, you know, really punish an enemy for blobbing up in a choke point, but Lore of Shadows is really definitely a good one for it. Anyway, we're not going to do that. We will limit ourselves to buffs, debuffs, and the occasional Melkoth's mystifying miasma, and otherwise fight the enemy the old-fashioned way. Gotrek, at least, will enjoy it as he charges forward. Jürgen is not far behind. Oh my lord, I have never seen that before. He just jumped on top of that troll and stabbed it in the face and brought it down. Oh my lord. Wait, what? Whose animation is that? Wait, is that an Empire Captain's animation? No, seriously, I've never seen that I have thousands of hours in this game. I don't know what to say. I can't... Okay, so... Now I have to put more lords on foot, because it's just... I'm disturbed by the fact that that's an animation I've never seen. And it's a good one. Yeah, alright, well, I'm definitely going to put a general of the Empire on foot now as well, and that was specifically an anti-monstrous infantry sync animation, eh? I really enjoyed that, I gotta say. Anyway, all that excitement aside, the enemy are blobbed up pretty nicely, seeming to want to fight our heroes and 2 of our units of ogres, as well as 2 of our units of Nordland Mariners. Now the other free companies, are moving out to provide fire support, and that's kind of the nature of having all the different types of free companies in this particular army. Technically, they're all free company, but we have the regular ones, which are the regular variant, the regular free company, which are essentially just sort of midline fire support. The main line, which is the Nordland Mariners, which are heavily armored version of free company, and a little bit shorter range, a little bit higher damage dealing. And then we have the Vanguard deploying sort of flanking units of the new Altdorf retinue. And I couldn't be happier about the multiple different types of free company militia, because you guys know I really love the units, so if any unit is going to have multiple different types of variants of it, I am very glad it is this one. Anyway, our ogres, or at least 2 of the ogres, charged directly through the enemy army and got into those pink horrors and basically tore them apart. The enemy is getting us back with magic aplenty, but we've essentially surrounded their main blob and are gunning them down as best we can with a special attention essentially for the trolls. Granted, the free company militia don't do a lot of missile damage, but that's kind of the point. They're hybrid units, and it's enough for our purposes. And again, we could have won this battle essentially with a single spell. Overcast Pit of Shades in the middle of this would have killed every single thing, but this is definitely the more fun way to do it. I got got this lovely little sort of encirclement we've got going on. The ogres really helped in this as they sort of mashed the blob of enemies together, and then on top of that we were able to back off a couple of the ogres and keep the enemies mashed up. With of course the lords and the couple of free companies that are in here. And essentially keeping the enemy engaged and allowing us to gun them down. Alright, really neat. Anyway, with that, I do believe the enemy army is nearly done for. The another pink fires. Honestly, that's probably going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt us. The enemy lords, the enemy exalted heroes are still in there, and I think between the trolls and the piles of ogre man-eaters that we've got, the mass of the units is interfering with everybody hitting each other. But that's alright, because we still have to work through all those pink horrors. And a little bit of extra damage will see the enemy shatter a little bit faster, I'm sure. And there we go. With that, the last of the enemy army gives up, and the battle is ours. Lovely. And wait, this army? Well, actually, we have to destroy this army, don't we? All right. Well, another benefit of this encirclement, I suppose, we keep our ogres essentially together with the free company on both sides, and the enemy tries to route through our piles of ogres and free company, but they have to get through a lot of mass in order to do so. Getting sent flying by those man-eaters, who are probably happy they joined the Nordlanders to go north into Norska, as they are getting a heck of a good meal after every fight here. I'm just watching them obliterate those poor units of runners. Anyway, I think that's enough now. We'll try to run down every single unit that we can, which I imagine we should be pretty darn capable of doing. Trolls are fast and they will regenerate, but ogres appear to be a fair bit faster and hit hard enough to prevent them from recovering too much. Beautiful. Alrighty, a nice fight, which once again we could have ended pretty much immediately with a nice pit of shades and the big old blob as the enemy was stuck in that choke point. But I liked fighting our way through it in this manner. We're gonna take the money. Every little bit counts, and unfortunately we won't be able to reach Svengar here, so I guess we return to Harvik for now. We're just gonna keep fighting around here and knocking out armies. Only a single army is obviously not enough, but we sent them for adventure, and adventure they shall have. Boris, you're going to go through Dietershofen, so go through this way, and then Mr. Ulrich Pappenheimer. Just out of curiosity, though, I just want to see Battle Wizards, Serene. Okay, I just wanted to see whether we got a better trait for these guys so we can resummon, but no. You're fine. Oh. You get. Oh wait, no. I was about to say, wait. Don't you? Do you guys have a wizard? They have Ulrika to be the Lore of Shadows. I guess we should probably get a actual Lore of Shadows wizard somewhere as well. Also, she's going to want to get an Overcast Occam's Razor because it adds area of effect, and she's going to want to be able to overcast the Withering as well because similarly, you want it to be an area hex rather than a single, single unit hex. There we go. Alrighty, next diplomacy. Let's see what we got. First of all, check this. Nope, nothing. Nothing useful at any rate. Remas, etc. Okay, we will be most likely trading with the Southern Realm. Oh, wait, this is Machrok. I was like, wait a second. We will be trading with them, but we want to prioritize the various Wood Elves. So we'll start with Talzin here. Yeah. Eventually, hopefully, they'll be willing to go for the defensive alliances and whatever with us, but for now, we'll just have to leave it as it is. The rest of this, for now, we can ignore, including Carrick Norn. Sorry, still Carrick Norn, I know, but it is what it is. And, yeah, I guess we're free to ally with the Great Orthodoxy in full now, but we will do so next turn when they get a little bit of their money back. Also, how's Ancestral Throng doing? Well, they're still around. Looks like Gromby is rebuilding his army. 6.5k? Yeah, give us your money. We're going to be solving their problems like we're solving everybody else's, so we might as well. We may as well take their cash to build up the Empire. Call it them hiring, I don't know, mercenary armies or whatever from the Empire to help them out. I feel like that does make sense. Krakadrek, surprisingly, still alive. We could just do the military alliance with them. They'll give us 3.2k, although that'll probably make it... If we take their money now, what'll happen? Well, you know what? Let's do Defensive Alliance just to get the vision of them. I just figure if we take their too much of their money, it'll just increase the speed time in which they are fully destroyed.
Yes.
Although if it looks like they're about to fall anyway, we probably should take their money so that, you know, the money doesn't go to waste. Might as otherwise, money not taken is money in the hands of the followers of the Dark Gods. Not that they, well, actually the Norskins. But anyway, let's see. Who else needs to move this turn? Governors, we may need to move you, Valdemar. You are proceeding to deal with the Red Duke. Now, we could grab Castle Rashad, and oh, well, we might as well, because Castle Mousillon is about to go to tier 5. Frankly, I wonder what's in this guy's army, but I might as well colonize it. We'll see if he tries to attack you. You'll be in, you know, vigor loss reduction, which ain't great, but I feel like he's not going to be brave enough to attempt this. We'll give him a shot. Actually, we'll give him many shots. Anyway, let's go for Artillery Masters. Stand your ground and Strength of Hardship are the obvious ones. Earth Shakers and the other war wagons. You don't need any of these buffs. Sigmar's, you know what, we should get Mark of Hish, because if we're fighting vamps, we're likely to encounter a lot of spirit leeches, and that ain't so great for us. And I'm gonna say hard to hit over Sigmar's Ward, because you're a big old target, maybe, on the Imperial Griffin. However, it's not like we're likely to run into too much range fire from the Red Duke over there. Alright, don't collect the income at Castle Rashad and build up the hamlet. We will be wanting to trade it. All of the Bretonnians can have their Bretonnian territories. Like I said, we want those buffer states. And I guess you're good where you are. I mean, do we need to level you guys up? I mean, we could go 4k. You have the esteemed combatant, but we can at least get We Are the Elite and Killing Blow, and I guess Retinue Trainer to buff those guys up. You definitely will want Triangulation, All-Terrain Vehicle, Black Powder Mastery, Black Powder Discipline, rather. Machinist Preparations, Restock, Mercurial Shot, and I guess Increased Mobility. Again, ward yourself against the Spirit Leeches via Mark of Hish and start going through We Are the Elite. We don't have a lot that will, well, 3. But yeah, not a lot that will benefit from it right now, but eventually. Lovely. Alright, we'll want to take not only Mousillon, but grab the Silent Isle, which I'm willing to bet will be worth a lot to Bordelot, since they're holding territory that should become Imperial territory. Still amuses me, but anyway. Emil von Corden, your army is now ready. You're actually fairly close to helping Bretonnia. You know what? Maybe we'll do that. I was going to send them this way, but there's other armies that can move down this way, and if they move like this, they can maybe help with the Broken Axe, and even if they can't, they can travel through Chateau Levar and then start attacking these guys. See what's going on in the Southern Realms. There's also the Skaven to be concerned about near Skaven Blight. I lost where the army was. Oh, there they are. I was like, what the heck? Alright, you proceed for through Berserk, I guess. Get yourselves a drink or two. Oh, wait, do we have Requisition up and running this turn? No, but Electrocount State Troops will become available for replenishment next turn. We have Send Aid, we have Open the Gates, which is nice. Commendation. Do we have any recruiters that are in need of rank 15? I should probably try to level a few more Arch-Electors for that particular purpose, since they, well, as builders, they have a little bit more use. I also want to see... okay, no new engineers that I care about, at least not right now. Anyway, we'll deal with that in a bit. Let's move everybody else along. Philip Ivan the Crazy. Alright, so basically, I'd like you to move here. Leopold von Bildhofen, you can hold on to the units, yes? Because you're you're both tacticians. What about Troop Train? Oh, funnily enough, either one of you would be the better troop train than this particular troop train. So, trade them, it doesn't really matter to who. You can transfer these guys, like so. And then you can move into this place. We're just keeping these guys just in case. We may at some point need them. Though they are costing us a fair bit of money, I will admit. This is like, what, 3.5k over the... That's a lot of money per turn. You know what? I am going to consider deleting them potentially. You can be reset, and I don't particularly care whether you come back. Yeah. Certainly a big consideration as to whether we kill off those guys. Anyway, Albrecht, you're waiting. Wolfric Ergiga, you've arrived where you need to be. Another army in Nuln. And you can wait. Gustav Tintla, you are supposed to deliver these guys to Kurt Helborg's fledgling army. Kurt Zek, you're going to deliver these to the Nordlanders. And I've lost my place. Because of course I have. Alright, Ralph Brandt, you're waiting to deliver some stuff, so you're fine as you are. Marius Light Dwarf. If we move away from Oakenhammer again, these guys are likely to attack it. Guess we could be trying, or should maybe be trying to shadow Boilrun rather than these guys. I guess we leave the place again. Alright, start moving towards Boilrun. We will leave Oakenhammer. And, I mean, if we trade it to these guys, they'll just lose it again. You don't hold on to it. Frankly, we can use it as a buffer territory in case they take it, because it's a territory we don't care about losing. Gelti. You have taken Komar, and I guess we'll want to move down to Bitterstone Mine before... Oh, actually, Wurzag is getting closer. Yeah, but we can't leave them here. They'll just attack us. The Skaven, I mean. How many territories do they have, I wonder? I don't really care about holding these. Oh, wow, we get some green territories again in the form of the hills. I wonder how much of this territory is hill. I was just considering the irony of being up in the hills while the dwarfs are on the flatlands around if we trade them the Badlands territories, because dwarfs like hills less than they do flat Badlands. Much sense. Anyway, can you actually proceed to Ekron from here? No. A shame. Alright, but if this is the last territory of Treacherik, which it appears to be, we should wipe them out and then move back to Wurzag after. So, Gelti, you are going to channel. And if you get ambushed, you get ambushed. I wish you much luck. Alrighty, what, oh right, I was considering on saving if those points until I figure, yeah, alright, we'll deal with those later then. It depends on what final form his army ends up taking. Ralph Brandt, you're good, we just checked you. Recruiter Beckberg, you do not yet need to recruit, but I'm keeping an eye on you. Mostly because the guy right beside you is already recruiting. Aldebrand, you're in the same situation. Gustav, you're in the same situation. Baldric, you have oh, you were gonna take the Silent. It's only a mysterious island, though. I guess we have to cross the water anyway. Yeah, fine, go grab it. Too bad we can't land in allied ports. I really feel like the game should have a land through allied ports ability. I don't know, maybe give it a toll or something, but we need to cross the river anyway, so we might as well just land. Alright, and this guy needs a wizard as well, which, funnily enough, a beast wizard would have worked here nicely as well. Maybe we'll do shadows in here for the slowdown. It's a possibility. In the meantime, though, we got Tech Thief ready to do. Tech Thief 1. These guys are unlikely to fail now, so we are free to just do that as much as we'd like. Like so, like so, like so, and I genuinely don't remember where the third one was. Alright, let's just find you. Where the fourth one was, rather. Oh, right, you were down here as well. Alright, fair enough. Still need to get Gelt a couple of additional gold wizard apprentices as well. Doesn't make sense to not have them in his army. Anyway, I guess we're starting from the bottom now, so you're good. Land Admiral Tintla, you're building your brimstone guns, your first gyrocopters, and we'll keep an eye out for more gyrocopters at a Karak-Kadrin. Let's also double check our missions. Jade Court, kill Admiral Singal. I doubt that we're going to do that, so we're not going to take this mission. It's gonna be up and running forever, isn't it? No, I guess it's because we're not at war with Bellicor. Ooh, if Bellicor knocks these guys out. I wonder if they'll be willing to confed. I guess we'll see. Alright, any more battle potential this turn? Let's find out. Stefan von Kessel, you unfortunately have to wait until your recruitment is completed. Where's Grommy? Mr. Ponchi, are you running from the Fey Enchantress? Huh, he can't reach Castle Aquitaine, so we could take the opportunity to move towards Castle Gonset, and then possibly even take Castle Brienne, because that will be a tier 4 and thus worth a fair bit of money, either to Bordelot or to these guys. Castle Aquitaine is worth a fair bit of money too, and it would mean moving away from it, because I think Garami would attack it. I wonder if there's anything that we could trade it for right now, other than Fort Berg-Bray, because it's not worth it. What about, how much is Languerre de Lac and Castle des Fleuves worth to you? Languerre de Lac is worth 52, so you'd be willing to do that. And, okay, obviously not Castle Gisoro. And we are, what was Fort Berg-Bray worth again? 50, okay, so it's not that much. I think we're saving Grungzint to give it to these guys for Roussillon. Though, I'm actually now wondering whether Brienne might be worth more to give to these guys, because we still need to get Montfort. Wait, no, not Montfort, Pervent. Which is worth a lot. Ugh, okay, fine. Alright, let's do this. You're gonna move to Castle Grand Set, and frankly... Oh, I wonder if these guys are looking to take Brienne. Well, if they... Really? Well, that's a shame. Alright, we're gonna readjust this army. If the auto-resolve hates this army this much, it means we need to put a few melee troops in, otherwise it's going to continue being a maniac. Though I do wonder whether the... Alright, let's just fight this real quick. I wonder whether the steam tanks, if we put several steam tanks in this army, whether it'll count them as melee units or as range units. I don't remember how the auto-resolve treats them. It's certainly a possibility that we don't necessarily need to... put regular melee troops in. And if we get, say, 4 steam tanks rather than 2. I generally don't like to overdo the steam tanks. Steam tanks are super rare in the Empire, and every single one is different from every other one, essentially. They're individual works of art. Remember, the Empire isn't an industrialized nation. They're probably, what, I don't know, a few hundred years away from the Industrial Revolution, really. And, yeah, every single thing like those steam tanks is an individual creation. They're not standardized construction, and they're obviously not capable of a machinery the type of that the dwarfs are capable of. In theory, in practice, they are, because the dwarfs are unwilling to, you know, explode themselves in the same way that the Empire is. Yeah, no. All right, I'm just gonna. Okay. I still think we should take a proper formation here because we only have melee range units, and you know, if we're not careful, the enemy will run at us very angrily. Might add rather. Do we want to go here maybe, or do we have anything protecting our flanks here? I think this will be fine. Make it a little bit faster. All right, you guys. War wagons. Wait, you are the sniper war wagons? There is a Black Orc Big Boss there, so you can go here, and I'd like you to snipe him then. From here, like so together. You two go here, but get ready to work on the enemy boar boys. Alright, artillery piece, you can go here. Actually a little bit closer, so that as the enemy draws closer to us. You guys are the bordermen, you're fine, Hawklanders. You can be behind the rest of the army, I guess. You have the additional range. Oh, we should probably put some Gunderman Surefires in here for the stagger shot, which we currently don't have. Oh, alright, gotta remember that. You guys can switch to blasting shots, and I believe that's not it, because I forgot the Lord. Alright, good enough. Steam tank can move forward as well. Alrighty, you turn off your skirmish mode, start battle, fire on this guy. Everybody else fire away. And there we go. Alright, you guys fire on those boar boys, you guys fire on these boar boys, and tank, you can fire on the boar boys as well. Alright, you guys get ready to withdraw, No need to be taking missile fire. Alright, like so, like, hey, I said withdraw, come on, man. Alright, you guys turn around, maybe get a few volleys into those boar boys while they approach, there we go, and keep withdrawing, you guys move. Looks good to me. There we go. I'd speed it up, but we need to actually control this, or else we'll take unnecessary damage. Alright, you guys back off now, before the enemy range units are in range. Our own range units are starting to be in range. Alright, good. Enemy lord is nearly down, and... keep going for those boar boys. Oh, you guys need to now change your position, lest you prevent our... other missile troops from firing. Hey. Okay, you guys fire on those boar boys. You guys are firing on those boar boys. Tank, you can stay in the center, essentially. There we go. Now some nice volleys. We don't really care if the enemy archers fire on the steam tanks because the steam tank is not so fragile that it really cares about that sort of thing. Alright, looks like that's good. Yeah, effectively taking a very, very little damage. Alright, you guys back off a little bit. You guys back off a little bit, maybe behind the other units. And then keep that position until the end of the battle. And I think we're just about good. Steam tank keep absorbing the enemy missile fire, and we should be just about done. You fire on this before it charges you. Steam tank, fire. Lovely. Alright, give it a few more seconds, a few more blasts into the enemy. Just on principle, obviously it's a settlement battle and the enemy army is destroyed. No problem. Yeah, we'll try to put in a couple of steam tanks, and like I said, if we put in a couple of Empire captains, they will summon additional range units, but might also function as melee units. The only thing is I'm not entirely sure what I would like to delete out of this. It would have to be 2 of the Outriders, which is unfortunate because they have suppression and thus a much-needed slowdown. It might warrant replacing of the 2 regular units of handgunners with Gunderman's Surefires to counteract the replacement of units that would otherwise be slowing enemies. And we'll just have to decide whether... Well, I'd probably still do the 2 Empire Captains rather than 2 more Steam Tanks, because, you know, overdoing Steam Tanks feels a little bit much. They're such a strong unit. Alrighty, and we are going to occupy Castle Gonset, like so, and prepare to trade it away. We can also delete you and replace you with a military structure to make you worth more money. And oh, nice. Let's, I guess, immediately trade Castle Aquitaine, since we're not going to hold on to it. I guess for Langueur de Lac? I wonder if Castle de Fleuve is worth more, but it's just a double check. It is Gisoro that we need, right?
If you insist.
Yeah, funnily enough, it's only Castle Gisoro we need, but we might as well have the entire province. So, Langueur de Lac. For Castle Gonset. No, for Castle Aquitaine, I lied. Like so. And you can give us 5,000 gold for our trouble. Okay, just a triple check. You won't do this directly for Gisoro, will you? Minus 88, you will not. Alright. Then we'll take your money.
I never fail.
Lovely. Alright, so Langueur de Lac is now ours, the first province in here. You can delete the blacksmith, but hold on to the farm. It'll help the place grow as needed. And then we'll see what else we can trade from these guys. Frankly, it might actually speed it up if we trade these guys Grungzint for Wission, but... I mean, it's not like we have something right now that we can trade for Castle de Fleuve, so that's gonna have to wait. And then we'll just have to find somewhere that we can trade for them, assuming that we keep Brienne to give to these guys for the rest of the stuff we need. Anyway, let's see who else needs to move. So, you guys are good. We still gotta do building, recruiter, Valmir von Rakov, and I believe we're good. Alright, lovely. Let's do building then. Start from the bottom again, though. Alright, Axbite Pass, Helmgard. Wait. How's that Grand Temple of Sigmar doing? That's gonna be 4 more turns. Okay, what about the Grand Temple of Ulrich? We've got 4 turns on you, and I think we were building another one here. Alright, so this, or Altar of Ulrich, this one's up and running. Yeah, it's fine. I was just wondering, wait, should we change this to a Sigmarite altar? But it's fine. Oh, we can also build the clothier here while we're at it. So yeah, let's go through stuff and start building clothiers. You're going to grab a military structure for eventual trading. Kragmir, Karagdromar, you're going to be traded to the dwarfs, so we don't really care what you look like. Old Dwarf Road, we are keeping you. So we'll start a little bit investment in you, but not overdo it because there's a decent likelihood that you fall. We'll ignore Circle of the Sun and Toran Rock for now. Dragonback Mountains, there's a decent likelihood we trade it away as well. Doc Karaz, I haven't decided on you yet. Karakungor is going to the dwarfs as well, but we are keeping Forest of Shadows. So let's upgrade the town here, let's upgrade the clothier, and then we'll get that wood up and running. Word of Rain, too expensive. Griffin Wood, too expensive, and not worth it until we're at tier 3. And Mason, you know what, start upgrading. We're going to be grabbing those Mugman's Brewery territories anyway. You're fine as you are, you're just, you know, always in danger of being taken over, so we'll ignore you. Middle Mountains, yes. Gold Mine, yes to upgrading the Well, we might as well get started. I forgot there was a yellow territory here in the Middle Mountains. But it's not like we're going to give that to somebody else, so we might as well put it to use. You've got the clothier. Let's pop in a tap room here to... Yeah, you'll be able to collect the income. It'll counteract it. Good. Klessen, build a clothier. Don't bother collecting income because I'd like you to keep racking up that additional growth. Van Heldenschloss, you will build a clothier, and then you will upgrade your clothier. I guess we can upgrade the settlement as well, but it is a little bit on the expensive side, so maybe we can wait a bit. Hanging Rock, you're going to be traded to the Karazakarek dwarfs for hopefully something that's worth a lot. Grungzint to Bretonia. Alright, now, finally, to our actual proper territories. I'd love to upgrade Glimdwaro, but it's a little bit expensive. Slash Scratcher, kind of in the same situation, where the Stormy or Yellow territory are not worth the investment right now. In Black Pit, however, we can upgrade the Tailor's... Oh, no we can't. You know what? Let's switch it to Council of Burgomeisters, as we'll be able to go up to the city next turn. Tumbledowns and Fort Solace. And we canceled the toll gates, and we do want those toll gates everywhere. You are building currently your... Wizard's Tower. I guess we could start on a Sigmarite temple. Yeah, fine. Give the Shrine of Sigmar. I don't see why not. You've already got the Gunforge, and then the rest of the Yor province will probably be just military structures. I mean, we could still build a clothier for some money if we wanted to. Grenstad, you're fine. Alright, ooh, yes. Clothier, and then upgrade Weiler. And then, well, we can hold off on that. Schoppendorf, yes to the Tailor's Guild, yes to the town at Allenhof, especially considering I believe this is the only obsidian source that we have. You will also need a public order building soon. Especially because the Confederations are kind of showing no signs of stopping anytime soon. Oh, I didn't realize Vorbergwerk was a yellow territory. Just build it up anyway, it's gonna take a while. Might as well build the paved roads. Alright, investments are coming along nicely. Castle Dreckenhof. We probably will want the Temple of Sigmar, but right now it's kind of expensive for what it offers, so let's just wait. And Bosenfels, I guess you can hold on to the rally field. We will need capacities for these guys. Let's upgrade this place, Salkalton, first, because it has pastures and the Imperial Wharf. This is a little bit more worth it. Heideck. Yes, we want to prioritize upgrading you because you have the Ancient Battle Site, which will give us more cash. Jardin, yes to the money and the wood, and Slaneshi Giggle, and the village, and... I mean, we could do one tap room here. We probably should have a mixture of tap rooms and barracks in basically every territory now. Seems like the way to do it. And you, well, as in when there's a free third slot, all the second slot should be taken by the common temples. Pretty much everywhere across the Empire. Anyway, I think that's about it for the cash that we've got, which means we're just about ready to end the turn. Man, it still takes a lot of money to invest in everything, but go figure. Anyway, let's skip. Outpost available. Oh, right, I actually wanted to build an outpost specifically in Kuhan, because if we're going to get Knights Panther, we may as well join another little mini crusading force to theirs, give them a few more knights from the Bretonnian orders. Possibly. Alençon. It's a little bit in a dangerous position. What about Haute-Mont? Let's do this, since Kuhan is not available. Alright, now that's all our money. Skip the damage building. Alright, this is for the, yeah, alright. Skip the damage building and turn. Alrighty, what do we have here? Sylvania has come under attack from the Greenskins. Yeah, sure, we'll hire nearby mercenaries for a quick little auto-resolve for... Wow, they've got plenty of great swords here. And take a little bit of free cash for ourselves. Lovely. Andro City discovered in putrid tar pits. Bone Rattle is destroyed. Sorry, Azag would have loved to have your defeat trait on Karl, but alas. Can't have everything. Greenskins, Confederation, Iron Skins, and Grimgor's Ardboys. Oh, that's an interesting one, considering the Iron Skins... Oh... You're not at war with Grimgor's Ardboys, but you definitely should be. Okay, I guess we need to give him Oakenhammer. These guys are gonna go to Oakenhammer. Well, if they lose it again, they lose it again. Oakenhammer. Join war against Grimgor's Ardboys. Oh, okay, you'll probably do a couple. Who else do we want you fighting right now? Broken Wheel, because they're nearby. You're currently fighting the Clan Grutnik and Red Eye. Those were the important ones, I guess. Yeah, well, let's just do those. We're not going to do anything about Clan Grutnik. You were willing to give us 5k money. We can put it to better use than you can, clearly, so, yep. Although the Slayers still demand they get paid. Constructor. Fortunately, since most of them, you know, don't survive their first battle. Ready for duty, Colt. I don't remember who you are. Hey, armor for infantry, nice. Undercity destroyed, and let's pick a new tech. As for which tech, I was saying state-issued infantry armor should proceed into rifled barrels all the way through. Though, you know what? I've changed my mind. Imperial Architects will give us a minus 25% construction time reduction, which, when combined with the Builder Arch-Lector, should really speed matters along in our interior provinces. Let's start from the top. Alright, so Karl, where is Throggy? Oh, Throg, you just killed yourself, bud. It's time for war. You're currently friendly with Clan Mage and Exiles of Khorne. We will ask Ursun Revi... No, we'll ask Great Orthodoxy because they're richer.
I see past your sins.
Man, actually...
For now.
Alright, fine. We will join your war against Wintertooth for money, and we'll wait until you have more money to do the military alliance. You know, I like this dynamic in the sense... Oh, Throt the Unclean is here too. Oh man, okay, we gotta get his... Okay, we definitely have to get his defeat trait on Karl, but we'll start with a nice duel against Throggy. But yeah, I like this dynamic in the sense that I feel like we deserve to be paid for our trouble restoring the lands of the other factions. We will fight this mostly because I want a duel between Karl and Throg, but I'm sure... Well, actually, we've had made a few additions to this army since then, including the Royal Altdorf Griffites. Funnily enough, the Royal Altdorf Griffites are technically a Drakvald Rider army. They're the... a unit. They're the sort of inner circle, the elite-most knights of the Drakvald Riders. But, well, I mean, they're also technically, I guess, the strongest-ish. I mean, one of them anyway. Maybe not the most overpowered. They're one of the, you know, highest tier units in the regiments of renown for the Imperial roster, so I felt like Karl deserved to have them. Anyway, let's do this.
The Empire endures!
Alrighty, here we go. We didn't get to see Karl last episode because of waiting for Hazag, and that should not be. Gonna get him a nice fight against Mr. Throggy, and admittedly Throggy also does have a decent defeat trait on him as well, so that's a good thing. Anyway, Karl's gonna touch down and start whacking away at Big Boy, who loses about 25% of his HP, but ooh, 3 units of the enemy Javelineers will start focusing Karl down. You gotta be really careful with that stuff, because those javelins do hit hard. Over on the right flank, however, our champion, Emperor's champion, Ludwig Schwarzhelm, will move to fight the Norse controls and his personal demigriff mount, while he leads the Royal Altdorf Griffites into combat as well. And looked like the knight almost flew off of there. Still not as bad as Tsarina Katrin before the changes to the Froststorm mount, which were hilarious. And I haven't actually seen it. I've been told that it's been changed not to be as crazy as it once was, but I don't know. It might be a shame, because I laughed a lot at that. Anyway, and it's also the debut of the Teutogan Guard. I guess it'll be a sort of a preview for when they inevitably join in the fight with the Ulrichite army. And everybody here will work together nicely. Karl, unfortunately, gets very badly damaged by the units of javelins focusing him down. He's going to have to lift off, pop off his healing potion, and then head for Throggy again. Throggy, in the meantime, however, is recovering. I am pausing a little bit, or not pausing, slowing it down in the sense that I want to get some good shots here, as this is going to be, by the looks of it, a fairly quick battle. Over on the left flank, Dietler's Reichsguard and the rest of the units of the Reichsguard are fighting the enemy trolls. The Zinklers are focusing the trolls down in particular because they've got their anti-large, while the regulars try to ignore the trolls as best they can and head into the fray against the enemy range units. Our melee units have arrived as well, and Throg, by the looks of it, has been defeated by Karl, while our units of Karoberg Greatswords, with their magical damage now, weighed in against the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. Throg attempts to run, but one more whack with Galmaraz, or perhaps one more claw from Deathclaw, will bring Big Boy down. There we go, and with Throg having shattered, it looks like the Chaos Warriors of Khorne and the rest of the Norskins will give up. Our Karobergs will give chase, and it looks like they absolutely tore those Cornate Halberds to shreds. They took a relatively little, if barely any damage whatsoever. Very, very nice. All right, lovely little fight for Karl. Did I say the threshold thing this episode? 300 likes, 60 comments, whatever it was, and a long episode, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, nice fight. Karl defeats Throg. Probably could use something that gives him regeneration now that I think about it. I mean, he does have that potion of healing, but, well, we don't have the life wizard in this army like we usually do, and it does mean being a little bit more careful with Karl rather than sending him where a bunch of anti-large javelins can hit him and heavily damage him. But nonetheless, on the other hand, you know, living dangerously and all that can be fun as well. Alright, there we go. Very nice fight. No magic needed as we just hacked our way through the enemy. Instead, Ludwig Schwarzhelm, leading the Royal Altorf Graphites, obliterated the 2 units of trolls over on his flank, while Tinkler's Reichsguard led the other 2 units of Reichsguard and against the trolls on the other, with the noble sons abroad, as is appropriate, being effectively squires, or at the very least knights in training, supporting the knights on the flanks, while the center obviously trashed whatever they came into contact with. Borderman did well. The Token Guard looked pretty neat. The Karberg Greatswords, now that Lichbone Pennant, bumped up to 14,000 damage. And Karl took a lot of damage. In fact, he dropped down to about a third of his HP, but not from Throg, who effectively got, what, 1,100 damage. It's less than 10% of HP of Karl's, but those darn missile troops, the anti-large Javelineers, focusing Karl, saw him take a little bit of hurt, but all good. All good. Occupy, I guess. I mean, it's not like we get nothing out of Saginus. We'll just occupy trade it maybe for some money. Weapon strength plus 10%. That's why I wanted Throg's defeat trade. Would have preferred Azag's resistances as well, but, well, we work with what we got. Yeah, I guess we could build a military structure here. Don't bother repairing that, though. Let the Kislevites worry about it to themselves, while you look to hunt Scarbrand and look to hunt Throt the Unclean, who will offer you more HP. And considering you're at nearly 13,000, every little bit will help you more. Anyway, Dolph. Now nearly to full HP. And we need you to take Nashrak Slayer, because I'm willing to bet we can't give these guys Karagaraziak.
Will you join me?
We cannot. No, yes we can. Oh, I lied. 1 money. Okay, well, I guess we took all of their money last term, but nonetheless we gotta keep working through them. These guys might return to... Oh, Nasha Deruffy is actually a rebellion here. Alright, that works. Okay, well, we will go into encamp stance so that we don't suffer attrition. Oh, actually, wait, this is our territory, meaning we can go here, channel, and then proceed to Nashrak Slayer next turn, which is under attack from Lazarg's rebels. Interesting. Alright, well, good for Lazarg's rebels. Governor Billings ignored, Gavin von Wolfen. Now you can proceed to Ulfraya, and eventually we'll hit you back to that Veil of Webs. You have no war wagons, so you're safe, out of resolve. A little bit of damage on the melee troops, but it is what it is. Not returning it to the Elector, though. Alright, a free Dawnstone, another burger, good find. Province secured, Old Dwarf Road, beautiful. And I guess since this is the edge of the Empire now, we will definitely be popping in guardhouses, pottery, and, I mean, go for Council of Burgomeisters. Everything here will be walled up. being the border princess at all. Granted, it should eventually become relatively safe, and at that point, hopefully, we won't need the walls. But for now, being surrounded by orcs and stuff as it is, it's not something we can deal with. Oh, darn. This guy's here. Well, that's not great. Can he take Karakern? Decent likelihood. Well, we're not going to help him, and we're not going to kill Finn and get gold, so we're just going to sit here and wait to see what happens. Because we want to trade those territories for the Imperial territories. Anyway, let's see who's next then. Jürgen, you cannot reach these guys. I don't see Village, but I'm sure he's around. And then I see this guy still hanging around in the Scapa Fjord. Alright, I guess we can go down here then. And then maybe back up north to continue helping the Kislevites. I want to get some Frostworms in somewhere as well. Alright, close victory. We need to fight this. It's a relatively minor fight. With the enemy in march stance, they would stand absolutely no chance. Granted, they have a bunch of Marauder Hunters with Javelins, which are anti-large, but the Ogres would just rush them. I think we're safe to auto-resolve this. I'm going to quick save this in case the auto-resolve was lying and does to the Ogres what it did to the War Wagons. Nah, we're good. I just figure we can get better fights than that. And Mace of whatever, good. Alright. This, I mean, we could trade it immediately to these guys. They will maybe start developing it, though if we take all their money, that's going to make it a little bit difficult for them. I wonder why you're moving this way. If he loses his main stack, we'll definitely need to make our way up here. Let's forego the trading for now, and then we'll deal with it as it comes. Waldemar. Does look like the Red Duke did not want to attack you, but with the Tier 5 garrison, you're going to have a heck of a fight on your hands. Can you deal with this? Can you hold? I guess we're about to find out. You are going to besiege the place. He will sally out. I've no doubt. Could be a pretty fun fight, too. You have esteemed combatant, which was the important thing here. I guess we'll move through Retinue Bard and then lead state troops, but first pump up that Mark of Hish to protect you. You, I think, are going to get an... Wait, you're not an Elector count of anything, are you? Although, what would we make you an Elector count of? I mean, I guess considering how much effort you've been going through in order to take Bretonnia, we can give you the Elector countship of one of these Bretonian territories. Just not a Bretonian army. Alright, either way, we have some... Okay, you're gonna... Wait. Yeah, I gave the other one to Boris. You can have the Potion of Healing. I wish we had more. I gotta get the Forbidden Rod to the Wizard of Light... Oh, not Light, of Life. What else do we have here? Armor of Fortune we can pop on you. This goes to Boris's Warrior Priest. These are going to Mages. These are going to Mages, which we again don't have a lot of, but we're getting there. Yeah, I can have an Armor of Fortune. What about weaponry? We do have a decent bit. The Ranger's Axe is probably only worth it on our Steam Tank Riders. I still don't really care for Ogre Axes, mostly because I like the additional weapon strength, but it would be really much nice. Oh, wait, Gambler's Armor, 10 ward save, 15 armor. Wait, are you telling me that the Gambler's Armor is now better than the Armor of Fortune? Go figure. Huh. That's new. Alright, well, we'll give that to somebody else. Maybe to Boris Todbringer. I don't care for the Scrolls of Aramar, however, so let's fuse those into another Book of Assure. Alright. 2 are for Gelt's Mages. Actually, speaking of, it's probably going to take a bit before we can... Ah, we didn't take a mage location here. You know what? Let's just build it. It's going to take 4 turns. Gelt needs his apprentices. I don't think anybody can easily take Blackclaw Lair because it's fairly heavily defended, so might as well. Alright, let's also Steel Tech, and let's... I mean, I guess we could Steel Tech with everybody here. There's another one, right? Down here somewhere? Here in Toranrock. God, we gotta remember to take Toranrock before somebody else does, because we do want that for ourselves. Tech Thief. And Tech Thief. How are we for Tech Thievery, incidentally? We're at 375. I think we need at least one more Tech Thief. I mean, and ideally we need more Tech Thieves, but right now we've got to put them in armies, because, like, most of our armies are still without wizards. And lawfully, most armies do have wizards attached to them, so... Alright, Bulletin, stay there. Elspeth, you Oh, right. I forgot about this stupid little rat army here. I was going to do the send aid thing, but I guess we don't really need it elsewhere, so we might as well get it on cooldown. So send aid, we will also use requisition, so we're saving the money this turn. Send aid here at Brovska. They're probably going to cross the water, which is going to be the annoying aspect of this. But it is what it is. Send aid. What? Did I accidentally use call to arms, or did I do nothing? Okay, I don't know what happened, but whatever. You're gonna go after Pestilich, and are you going this way? No, you're just trying to protect Berikvar. Alright, that's fine. Oh, right. If Berikvar falls, that won't be so good. Oh, you didn't cross the river. Ha 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 ha. Poor guy. Poor little ratties. You did. And these armies can heal up, so we can... I mean... might get another turn of use out of you. And, hey, another Extinguished Phoenix Pinion. That's not an SFO thing, right? You get those... It's a new item added by the sort of item patch, unless I'm mistaken. You know what? Go this way, maybe scout some stuff out. Alrighty. Back to Elspeth, who was looking to move. I want her to fight these many stacks, so that's what we're gonna do. Alright, let's level everybody up and let's do it. Ooh, you're nearly rank 50 now. Beautiful. I guess we're just going to keep building you to be, well, not so much a fighter, but at least capable of taking a hit or two. Indomitable is useless. Bandolier is probably useless as well. Let's get you fleet-footed. And I guess we should just max out Bandolier. I don't really care about well, you know what? While I don't really care about Laboratory or Apprentice Marksman, it might actually be worth more than Bandolier is, because if you never run out of ammunition, this doesn't matter at all. And newly conquered territories by Elspeth may be able to take advantage, so let's just do that for now. Alright, Elspeth still needs her other tank. How close are we to the next forge? I would like to get more tanks up and running. Okay, we got 4 turns. And Altastad, you are going to switch to Council of Burgomeisters, as you will be upgrading stuff here, which will give us even more tanks. Alright, so in about 6 turns, we should get an additional, like, 8 tank capacities as we build those guys. I should have probably switched you to Council of Burgomeisters over the next turn, but, well, it is what it is. Frankly, we need the money for a bunch of stuff this turn anyway. Ooh, wait, I just remembered something. The Baldening is upon us, isn't it? Yes. This guy's done a pretty good job over the mountains, hasn't he? I guess we could grab Brittle Peaks. I wonder which Skaven faction this is. Probably these guys? They have 3 territories. Okay, so who is holding Mortis Tarn, and then who is holding Brittle Peaks is gonna be the question. What isn't the question is that we are going to be confederating. So, unify. Alrighty, that's going to hurt money-wise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 territories ours. Ally loses outpost, but it's worth it. You guys, anything interesting? Huh? Wait, what? How did you... He has a Bretonnian army for us? This is amazing. I don't understand how he did this. Are you telling me he has his own electoral system? How did he do this? Why does he have a million Bretonnian troops? Did he have a unique building that lets him build those? What the heck? I'm shocked here, guys. I'm absolutely shocked. I don't know how that's possible, but I am absolutely for it, meaning we can get a Bretonnian crusading army up and running before, and well, send him with the rest of our crusading armies. That's fantastic. All right, I'm very happy about this. Volky, let's see what the AI did to you. You have Leader of Renown. You have Pistol Core, you have Emperor's Finest, you have Honest Steel. You currently buff melee defense to Sigmar Disciples, Empire Knights, Flagellants, and Free Company. Meaning, this is all not bad, minus Honest Steel, which does nothing for you, but 1 point isn't horrible. You have Mere Mortal Men, which gives blessed ammunition for Free Company Militia, and that includes specifically the new Altdorf Retinue, which I'm a little bit more interested in this army, because, as we said when we fought in the north, these guys have Vanguard deployment, unlike the other Free Company Militia types, which would give them an interesting extra use, especially with the bonus speed offered. Passive Wayfarer. Ooh, that's a lot of bonus speed. So Sigmar Disciples, Flagellants, and Free Company. Flaming attacks for everybody. Witch Hunter and Warrior Priests, and Casualty Punishment Rates, Strength of the Penitent. Only if losing melee combat, I see. Oh, I wish he hadn't spent 3 points in Sigmar's Ward. I fear that he'll be point hungry enough to run out of points by the time we reach this, because of all of this. Maybe not. I mean, we can always reset him later if we need to. Alright, well, that kind of decides it. You got... Okay, what do we have here, by the way? Guardian. That's okay. What do you have? Zealous Priest, Grandhammer of Sigmar. What do you have? You have a Witch Hunter with Ghost Hunter, which isn't horrible. Yeah, you can hold on to the Witch Hunter. I feel like it makes sense with the Volkmar. Anyway, we're going to join these armies together, so you're going to travel through the mountain passes, or you're actually going to pick up the Bretonnian units from these armies. And I might delete some of these Warrior Priests, but we shall see. What do you have, by the way? Not the Warrior Priest, the Hunts... he has a Ranger, which might actually come in handy at some point. I'll lose the Spell Shield. And frankly, you can lose most of this. Well, we'll do that before we delete you. Also, don't collect the income here. Switch you to Council of Burgomeisters. Delete? Well, maybe. We might delete it, we might keep it, I'll think about it, and hold off on the rest of this stuff. So this is Doom Mountain and Ashmere. Cliffs of Dawn is its own settlement, and it's not maxed out. We'll go Council of Burgomeisters, we won't collect the income. We can keep the farm until it's ready to be maxed out. So that one's good. Other territories... Oh, wait, in the meantime... Trade... Ooh, wait. Are there other trade agreements that we want to do, maybe? Yes. There very much are. Including a bunch of Wood Elf factions. Though I would like to trade with Court of Libaros. We've got other places to crusade. Exiles of Nehek want to trade as well now. Oh, because we get a bunch of extra territory. But yeah, let's do all of the Wood Elves at once. Slaneshi giggle. Yeah, we'll start with you. Hey, military access, good. I'd love for the trade agreement, but if it ain't happening right now, it ain't happening. Let's get all the trade agreements up and running before we swap out any territories or anything like that. Anmir. Ooh, so close to the defensive alliance, and yet so far. Hopefully they'll be willing once we're up to, like, I don't know, 200 bonus, because if we're allied with all of the Wood Elves, it's really hard to get a defensive alliance with them, though. Vidrioth, you will... 3 points. Okay, you know what, guys? I'm going to make a little quick cut here. It's going to take me a while to just sort of look through the units and look through the buildings in here, and it's kind of annoying and a waste of on-screen time a little bit. So I'm going to do that off-screen, and similar to what we did with Hawkland, and then when we come back, we will... and figure out which units we want to delete, which ones we want to ferry over, and then when we come back, and, well, I guess it'll be half a second for you guys, we'll continue. We'll be right back.
Will be my next invention.
Alrighty, there we go. One army deleted and the buildings at least partially dealt with. I decided that we might want to recruit some stuff here, possibly within the next few turns. We're going to keep the military structures in this province, but got rid of them in the other one. More importantly, this is absolutely glorious, because it would have taken a long time to get this number of the various Bretonnian state troop units available out of the Elector Count state troop tree and resetting it every few turns, but like this, we can get the army up and running essentially as soon as we cross the mountains, and I am absolutely all for it. What we're going to do with them most likely is essentially try to up armor the Men-at-Arms Grey Mountain Band as much as possible, pop a few Empire captains in there, pop a couple of war drums in there from Cathay, and then just drown the enemy in Bretonnian peasants, because it amuses me to do so, especially with the Bretonnian peasants hopefully being more heavily armored than Bretonnian knights, and we'll see how well they do at that. The stats in the armor will go high, but we gotta keep in mind that their hit points are relatively low at only 12,000 compared to other sorts of units. Now, they're even a little bit lower than the Free Company militia unit, and they're like 3,000 points lower than a unit, for example, of basic infantry, great swords, etc, etc, etc. 16,000 on the Teutogan Guard. Yeah, anyway, as for Mr. Volkmar the Grim, The baldening may be upon us, and this is what peak performance looks like. We are probably... I've decided that maybe we should reset him. Yeah, it's not a big deal, but it's only 3 turns, and he's not going to be doing anything for a few turns anyway, because we have to sort of swap units and troops and get his army ready to go. So I feel like this is a good time to reset him anyway. And at least this way we won't be as hungry for points while he levels. So, reset your skill points, sir. You'll be back in a sec. And we can pop somebody else in there. Is anybody here that needs to or could use levels that we could still make good use of? Not logistically minded, mind you. And defensive isn't bad for the type of units that are in here, so Kuldorf could be a useful one. I can also do this esteemed guy. Let's go with Colt. It doesn't really matter. And you've been reset. So let's go Inspiring Presence, Route Marcher, Hold the Line, and Emperor's Finest, at least while we're using this army. And then we'll figure out the rest of the stuff after. Volkmar's also in a weird position in that you'd think that he wants flagellants, but in reality he doesn't, because he gives his entire army the Strength of the Penitent trait, as we saw, but he... Well, he gives it to his army, but they already have it, and he also buffs Free Company Militia significantly more. Fortunately, our Free Company Militia army does not have new Altdorf retinue in big numbers, so we'll use those for him with their Vanguard deployment, and they'll be it'll make it feel a little bit different. Obviously, his entire army isn't going to be composed of that. We're going to throw in some flagellants or armies of Sigmar in there, and maybe some couple of witch hunters for the witch hunter retinues, some knights of various kinds, since he buffs them, and I don't want to go for a specific knightly order, but to various different kinds. That may have been seconded to him. I think it'll be nice. Anyway, for now, where were we? I do not remember, unfortunately. Let's see. You're besieging. Theodoric von Blitten still has to... I was about to say has to move, but not really. Elspeth has to fight. Yes, alright. So Elspeth... And we still gotta get you your tank, but anyway, we will fight these guys. You are currently at war with Karazakarak and Clan Engrund. Let's ask Karazakarak to join the war. Against... Oh, these are Ironclaw Mutinous kits? Huh, I'm actually surprised that they did not get confederated or otherwise deleted. We also want Styratia, so if you could give us Styratia, that would be just fine. Minus 78. Okay, we're actually going to have to give them a proper settlement for that, but we don't have to do so right now, so we'll... Well, actually... 78. I mean, how much is Doc Karaz worth to you, assuming that we don't keep it for ourselves, just out of curiosity? 19. Okay, fine. You know what? We can probably do it with Doc Karaz. Just delete this and give it to them. Let them keep it. I don't care. It's not a big enough deal. It might have been nice to have all of this and then go through Berikvar down, but I don't think these guys are going to take Berikvar. At least I doubt it. So we'll prepare for it. Anyway, let's still just ask to join the war against the Ironclaw Mutinous Kits like so. We will take your money, however, sparse though it may be. And then Elspeth, you're gonna hit up the orcs here, who will have to sally. Yeah, there's no way they run. It's 2.5 stacks versus 1. There we go. Valiant defeat, casualties high, but, well, we'll see about that. Go.
The enemy feels themselves indestructible. None will disabuse them of this falsehood.
I really wish that they would put the volume of all the pre-battle speech for all characters up to the same levels as Elspeth, because I can hear her crystal clear every single time, and then some are, I don't know, barely audible. Anyway, here we go. We got 6,000 odd orcs arrayed against us, and I'm interested to see how well we do here. There is certainly more than enough fast movers, enough cavalry, pump wagons, and whatnot, and just enough sheer numbers to reach our line. We do only have 5 units of null iron sides. And we don't have the kind of overwhelming artillery that we've given Gelt, mostly because I want the, Knights of the Black Rose in this particular army to actually get to play. Anyway, Elspeth's hovering around, dropping the occasional attack on the enemy. Here she's going to start off that Spirit Leech and then follow it up with a Purple Son of Zoreus and the Blob. There's only a couple of summoned enemy units here, though, and we should be able to take them out pretty darn fast. Dragon Breath will come down as well, and the enemy lord is down to about 15 or whatever % of his HP, but the real challenge will be the actual enemy units coming in as a reinforcement. Yeah, these are all summoned biggins from whatever the Orky ability, the summon in area ability is. Anyway, I think it's from the garrison building. Together with Elspeth, we have moved our Wissenberg's welcomers to give them the old Wissenberg welcome with a few grenades to the face. And I'd wager between that and the occasional rocket from our battery, we'll see all these biggins up before the enemy reinforcements arrive. In terms of our positioning, we've got our left flank protected decently well by this big old cliffside, and the flanks in general are where our Knights of the Black Rose will be waiting, preparing for the enemy to move on. And otherwise, we have our units of 5 Ironsides, 3 above, 2 below. It's a nice thing about being able to set up on the hills like this, and that it's easier to set up missile infantry such that they can be directly behind each other without interfering with each other too much. At the very least, until they reach right in front of these guys, they'll be able to fire down on all those units below. And the time will soon come as the enemy reinforcements have arrived on field, including an enemy lord on a wyvern, wouldn't you know, who has, well, not quite as much HP as Elspeth. She could probably just outlast the lord. And in fact, let's speed this up a little bit while the enemy moves a little bit closer. There we go. Alrighty, wow. It always feels so weird going from max speed to normal speed. Anyway, the orcs are milling around, and, well, they'll be milling around for a little bit. We didn't deploy close enough to be able to fire on the enemy as they made their way onto the battlefield immediately, because I mostly don't like to do that, so they will be able to at least move and reform, or just form up, essentially, and head down different paths, separate from each other. Though, any ones that get funneled down here through this choke point are absolutely fair game. Even if they're going to be a lot more widely distributed than they would otherwise have been. But we gotta give them a chance, right? Anyway. Enemy's starting to move towards us. Elspeth did hit the enemy lord with a spirit leech, and now the wyvern is giving chase. Foolishly, I might add, as cannons can still fire upon it, and the closer it gets to those Ironsides, the more likely it is to take a single, blistering, devastating volley. It's about 50% HP. No, he's got a potion of healing. Ooh, hopefully we can steal that. That'd be real nice. Alright, another cannon shot. Looks like it goes just a little bit wide, and there it is. The wyvern has reached us. There's the volley, and down goes lord and wyvern. Like perhaps it was all part of the plan, though, a distraction, as the enemy wolf chariots and tons of pump wagons and boar boys make their way forward on the flanks. Oh, wow, that volley. I mean, wolf chariots are pretty fragile, so that hit pretty hard. But anyway, we got 6 pump wagons on the various flanks, then even more pump wagons moving through the center. At least some of them are definitely going to be able to move towards us. And it does look like some of the enemies have gotten trapped in this choke point, and we're certainly going to punish them for it, since we didn't punish them all up here. Knights of the Black Rose have intercepted the first of the enemy fast movers, both the pump wagons and the wolf riders alike. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a dark map, but hey, our 3 other battle maps today weren't dark, so it's all good. Though I still feel like the game should have a toggle for dark maps and not dark maps. Like if you don't want them to be used, then you should be able to toggle it up. And frankly, the same thing for those targeting runes for the effects. I know I use a mod to bring them down, but the mod doesn't affect the, well, modded ones, and thus we still see those targeting runes on the ground. Which I don't appreciate, but anyway, not a big deal. At the end of the day, a pile of gobos, was it, that tried to make it towards us, had a pretty bad time of it. However, once again, the enemy outnumbers us pretty massively. Looks like the Wissenberg welcomers are getting chased down. We're going to have to counter the enemy cavalry charges, whether it be the boar boys or the squig herders. Hoppers. Yeah, it's hoppers. and just block them off as best we can while we keep providing fire support with our Null and Iron sides, and Elspeth continues hovering overhead, dropping whatever spells she may. The other two units of Knights of the Black Rose are still embroiled in the melee, and there's a couple of heroes in here leading the piles of boar boys. And we're going to debuff them all, however. Fata Biuna, as well as the Soul Blight, which is a pretty decent sort of all-arounder spell. As an all-around debuffing various things, you know what I mean. Actually, that wasn't super clear, so you may not have known what I mean, but anyway. There we go. And, ooh, looks like the enemy Orc Boar Boys have managed to reach our line, but they are in the process of routing, so perhaps a couple of hits, and there we go. That one was close. Fortunately, Elspeth was there to meet them. The bounce power has shifted to about 70% in our favor, and it does look like another pump wagon unit is milling around. We're just barely managing to hold the enemy off from overrunning the hill. Pretty cool fight, though. And so generally, while it tends to be more fun, especially past the early game, to take fights against multiple stacks at the same time. It certainly allows the strengths and weaknesses of certain army compositions to shine through. And this is definitely one of those armies because it lacks any kind of melee infantry that walks a razor's edge when it comes to potentially being overwhelmed. Elspeth has joined the fight on the left flank, together with the tank as well. Oh, so the regular steam tanks have just the regular old steel color scheme, and then the Hellblaster ones have that reddish color scheme. I kind of like that. That's more variance. I do believe there is a mod that gives a bunch of... Well, there was in Total Warhammer 2. I don't remember if it exists in Total Warhammer 3, or if it's balanced with SFO, or if it's balanced at all, but there are a bunch of different variants of different steam tanks and stuff. And some of them are just like... I like... They're not like... I mean... At least one I recall is not so much like a tank, but more like a ram or a chariot without a main weapon, just a big old, I don't know, just a big old bulldozer, which would be pretty fun as well. I still like the idea of all the different steam tank variants being unique, but anyway, with that, the enemy army shatters. It was a close one, at least in terms of them reaching our lines, and as we can see, our Knights of the Black Rose are fairly heavily damaged. These guys have lost about a third of their number and a little over 50% of their HP. You're down to 50%, but you will recover to full because you've only lost a single unit thanks to that Iron Resolve. Huh. Iron Resolve. Isn't there another trait called Grim Resolve? Am I crazy? I gotta double check what the trait is on, the Knights of Moor. Maybe that's Grim Resolve. Anyway, damage or not, the orcs have failed, and they will lose their big old capital settlement. A lovely work from Elspeth, as always. Alrighty, there we go, a very nice fight. We took some severe damage to our Knights of the Black Rose, in fact several of them, though only this one dropped below 50% HP and thus started losing tons of its models. As usual, the rocket batteries absolutely clean house, they're insane, and again, you can see why I only have rocket batteries in 2 armies across all of our armies. Yeah, Imperial armies want those rocket batteries, but they're so obnoxiously strong against the AI. It's got a similar situation to sort of Thunder Barges and Dreadquake Mortars, wherein you put a couple of them in any army, and they will pretty much always win against the AI, especially against infantry-heavy AIs, so yeah. Great, but not to be overused, at least, in my opinion. Otherwise, there's just enough in this army with against 2.5 stacks and the fact that we don't have melee to still make it fairly dangerous as the enemies rush towards our line. The Farsights with 13,000 damage and ooh, beaten out by the Hagen's Marksman with 35,000 damage. Very solid. Elspeth got 82 and 420, matching at the very least the damage of the Hellstorms, if not quite, I should probably name the tank. if not quite the kill count, as I was starting to say. Alrighty, there we go. Rampager standard, not the standard I'd like, but hopefully we can keep collecting you. Tank, you deserve a name. You will be Stormhammer. There we go. Alrighty, and, well, actually, I like the cannons, but they're probably going to go to a different army, so I think we're not going to bother naming them right now. Let's, take this place now. Close victory, and it'll kill the war... Hey, at least it's not lying about killing the war wagons. I will probably do this between the episodes, assuming that I don't forget. I'm going to hope that I don't forget, but, I wonder how much it's worth for sack value. Barely anything, unfortunately. Oh well, what can you do? Well, let's see who's next after Elspeth, and I'll hope I don't forget. Emil von Corden. You are supposed to go to help against the orcs real quick, and then move southward. Wait. Do we need... Okay, we need to... Okay, okay, we don't need them in your army, in theory. I mean, I guess we could put some Noble Sons Abroad in the Pistoliers, but they're mostly here to act as chasers of enemies, so... Not a big deal. Frankly, we could also replace them with, you know, the Bretonnian units. As thanks, if we should wipe out the Broken Axe. I will think about it. But anyway, the important thing is that since we're about to reset the count of state troops, you guys are going to want some state troops. There we go. Grenade army is nearly complete. I think we went one too many of the regular Outriders, and we'll want some mortars in there, as well as... probably a fire wizard, because everything with the exception of the mortars does fire damage. I wonder if Sutzen's guns do fire damage. Sutzen's guns are Reikland. They do fire magical damage. Alright, well, we got a Confederate Reikland. Boris, you are going to get your last two Teutogan Guard. Like so. I wish they weren't so horrifically expensive to recruit, but it is what it is. Gotta do what you gotta do. And you're gonna grab this island while you're on the way. I think there was another island nearby, but you're gonna go and land up here, so Alright, frame dropping aside, and you, Mage, are going to join Boris on his adventure to grab island, and then to go north. Like so. Oh, you are just out of range. Alright, so stay right around here. Boris can... well... no, you're not going to get XP from that anyway, so Boris can grab that and then go north. Alright, that works, I think, reasonably well. What other regiments or state troops do we want? These, okay, so... preparing... okay, friendly, that's you. And grab a couple of the Imperial Foot, as we are preparing for Kurt Helborg's Reichsguard. Then Marius Leitdorf, I want you to get the Ogres, and we're going to get you more Ogres from the actual Ogres as well. Leitdorf, what do you want to lose out of this army? I think the guns, because the Ogres are going to be in their way anyway. I guess this is another army where Sutzen's guns will probably work out quite nicely. There you go. And funnily enough, they're because of our bonuses to state troops, the man-eaters, which are much stronger, are actually barely more expensive than basic ogre bulls. Anyway, you're going to give chase to Boilren. I don't know whether he's going to attempt to take these guys' territories, but we really need these guys gone. We really need to help the Karakadrin dwarfs against them, because they're being quite the annoyance. Watch them try to declare war and ambush us here. You know what? Let's... I don't know. Stay near our own territory, because this is a solid army, and if this army gets ambushed, they're gonna be in trouble. And they've got a fairly big artillery train. You can also pop in Leader of Men for now. I still think we're most likely going to reset you, so we shall see. You already have Sharpshooter, and the rest of that, I think, for now is fine. Alright, what else do we need? The Drakvald Riders and Knights of the Everlasting Light. I did want two of them to be with Volkmar, so we'll pop one in now. And ooh, the Noble Sons Abroad. Definitely you. Look at our money per turn dropping as we keep recruiting. Okay, I'll just pop them in here. And there's only one. Knights of the Everlasting Light. We'll do probably 2 Knights of the Everlasting Light, and then maybe 2... we could do Knights of the Everlasting Light and Knights of More, or we could do Stubborn Bulls. Wait, I think he buffs regular Empire Knights, so Knights of More wouldn't count, as they are not Empire... I mean, it says Empire Knights on them, but I don't think he buffs them. I'm pretty sure he buffs the Stubborn Bulls, though. Imperial Allegiance. The Everlasting Light guys have the Blinding Radiance debuff. I think the Knights Panther also have a buff or debuff. I don't remember which it is. I'm gonna have to take another look at what he wants in his army before we finalize that. As for the Noble Sons Abroad, they're really good and they could be used pretty much anywhere. The question is, where do we want them? Well, I'm sure Gelt would love them, but he doesn't really need them. I'm just wondering whether any new armies would want them. I know that a slowdown army, which we want, will want them, but we don't have one right now. Frankly, we could replace some Outriders with them because... Oh, wait, do we have no space? No extra... Yeah, we have no extra Gundermans. I did want to replace some of the handguns with the Gundermans here. Where do we put the Noble Sons Abroad? You know what? I don't know, at least at the current time, so I'm going to say pop them right now into Friendly Hartman's army, and then we can always transfer them as needed. I just want to get them on field because we're going to use this to reset them anyway. So, Requisition and not Inquisition. Elector Count State Troops, perform. Alright, it looks good to me. Then, we want those two Gundermans up and running immediately. And we want to get the cooldown started on a few things. So, you guys, I know that you're high rank, but we have nowhere to place you. So, let's do this. And then we'll pop in the two Gundermans. This way we can feel free to... get rid of two Outriders, because these guys will at least have some kind of slowdown ability to them. Alrighty, then... Since we will want the Vanguard deploying Altdorf, new Altdorf retinue in this army, we can get rid of the archers, and I guess the pikes. Frankly, most of this army is going to be gotten rid of, but there's Skaven around, so we gotta deal with that first. New Altdorf retinue, like so. Alrighty, then, what's the cooldown on these guys? Why does it say 0 out of 2? Shouldn't it? Are you telling me these guys are broken, they're not resetting? Because it says 0 out of 2. Well, that's kind of concerning. Hopefully these aren't broken as well. Well, at least we have access to them for now. So at least we can get them in this manner. It's not like we need a crazy amount of them. We already have 3 of them here, and then a 4th, I want to say, in this army. We could always use a couple of Northern Mariners in their place. Should we want to. And I will think about it. Alright, we should probably get the other Knights of the Everlasting Light to get them on cooldown, although we probably won't need a crazy amount of them either. Do we need the cooldown reset? Well, we might want some... Let me just see here. We definitely will want more Knights of War and probably more Stubborn Bulls, though I have not yet decided how many. You know what, let's just hold off on getting anything else for now. Let's do whatever else it is that we need to do over the end turn and then continue. Waldemar, you were besieging Castle Mousillon. As soon as we end the turn, most likely we'll get a big old fight out of it. Philip Ivan, you're just gonna hold on to these guys. Ruprecht, I would like you... Yeah, I know I've been checking these a while now, but I want a specific engineer type. The one that gives a little bit of extra range, because frankly the Grenadiers really need it. Their range is quite short, so it would be dangerous to have such a grenade-heavy army if we don't have that. Loving explosions, though, we do. Wolfric, you're fine. Gustav, you're fine. Oh, right, actually, you're not fine. I lied. You're supposed to deliver these guys to the fledgling Reikland army. A Reiksguard army, which, in fact, is probably free to begin recruiting Reiksguard. Probably next turn, because, you know, we need the money. And you don't need to deliver anything unless I'm mistaken, so you can just be reset, since we no longer require you. Alright, I should have probably checked if you had, like, a coachman or something on you, but whatever, too late. Let's see what else we've got. Gelt, I think you're next, right? Looks like it. Alright, you were in range of Clan Treacheric's last location. Let's obliterate it if we can. It looks like we can. Alright. Well, okay, no, we don't have war wagons in this army. It's made me completely paranoid. And with that, Clan Treacheric is destroyed. And hey, we got another Trickster shard out of it. Nice. Bitterstone Mine. Honestly, I probably should have sacked it or razed it because we don't really care about it, but I guess we can go through Ekrund. And then north through Stone Mine Tower and try to intercept Urzak. Frankly, we should probably knock him out before he kills these Kislevites. Which would be good because, you know, there's a bunch of Kislev units that we could use in a bunch of armies. as they continue to get online. Anyway, Aldebrand Ludenhoff, you were supposed to carry stuff. Oh, actually, speaking of ferrying and or carrying stuff, you know what, go to Norden and then start your move next turn there, because that'll increase how far you can travel. You gotta deliver those to the Nordlanders. We could also probably start recruiting Land Admiral Zientle's army. And of course with a mind to continue upping our economy, because all these armies aren't going to support themselves once again, and as always, war is logistics, and, well, you can probably see with all of the sort of troop trains and stuff going around. You mortars, alright, you're high level, we can deliver you, at least until we're ready to replace you with Sutzen's guns. Gustav Hall, I already checked you, but we can keep those high-level troops around. Baldric Stroam, you're going this way.
For now, no further.
You got places to be. You know what, go in at least allied territory, just in case, for whatever reason, that makes you move further. Alright, now I'm excited to get this army and doing stuff. We need to get it a mage, and I'm not so sure what we can take out of it. Or we could do it without a mage. But again, I don't know. Mage, nice. Always nice to have. Stefan von Kessel, you are waiting. Oh, you know what you need? You need a warrior priest, among other things. Sadly, we don't have a warrior priest I like, which is probably why you don't have one. Alright, Humphrey Bruckert, you are going to besiege Brion in Trench's stance. That'll hopefully be worth quite a bit to the Bretonnians. Valiant defeat, eh? I mean, we've effectively already fought this exact same fight. I'm going to be willing to let them try to sally out, because they got some good stuff in here. 3 Black Orcs, 4 Orc Biggins, a Giant, and a Ragnarok. Well, they can certainly fight it, if they are not cowards, which remains to be seen. Also, do we want to level these guys? Let's go through We Are the Elite at least. It's not going to benefit much, but, you know, something better than nothing. Like so, and... let's go Mark of Hish. I mean, we don't really... not in the next fight, but, you know, spirit leeches from those River Troll hags. They do make me paranoid. Alright, I think I checked those two. Alrighty, let's see. Who's next in the order? I can't wait to delete all of the sort of follower armies. It would be nice. I mean, not really follower armies, just like troop train armies and stuff like that, because they're kind of in the way. Anyway, our recruiter von Gru, you are... I mean, there's several technically recruiters here, aren't there? Yeah. And also, you builder, you should actually go here to Middenheim Road and... Oh, okay, wait, you want to go between Middenheim Road, Kutenholz, and the next territory, which is Karlberg. So go to the edge of Kutenholz. We will come back here, but we want to build stuff. We want to... I got over the next turn, maybe. Pop in all of those common temples in here. I don't think that we can... Well... Yeah, we can't afford it right now, but we will eventually. Anyway, let's see what else we've got. That was Builder. Oh, Builder was actually out of order, so I no longer know where we are in the order. Land Admiral, you're fine. Valmir von Rakov, you are fine. You're fine. You're waiting for a Stubborn Bull-centric army, and oh, it looks like we are more or less good to go. Alright, you know what then? I'd love to end the turn, but I think we're going to call the episode here, because as soon as we end it, we got another big fight, which we don't have time for, but what I do have to do between the episodes is deal with this, the army that we've already defeated, since it's not going to let us auto-resolve. So I'll do that between the episodes, and we'll take Aldium, and we come back, then we can immediately end the turn, and then proceed. I guess Elspeth will work on knocking these guys out, maybe fighting some Cornates, just because, since we do have other armies here, and yeah, we just need to send a couple more armies down here, which is why it's probably a good idea to get Land Admiral Zientle up and running, and then the Reichsguard, maybe Stefan von Kessel, though I was thinking that we sent him either to Norska or as an expedition to the Albion Bowl, because this thing is still going strong, and we should probably tip the scales one way or another. Whether we will or we won't, I guess we'll have to find out next time, so stay tuned for more, Carl. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.